Hello everyone. Today we are going to continue this chapter metal and non-metals. We have already read about the comparative study of physical properties of metal and non-metals. Today we are going to discuss about the comparative study of metals and non-metals chemical properties. Let's start. So the first reaction is reaction with oxygen. Metals and nonmetals both react with oxygen to form their oxides, but metal oxides are basic in nature while the non-metal oxides are acidic in nature. For example, if we bring moist blue litmus paper near carbon dioxide or sulfur dioxide, it will turn red. While if we bring moist red litmus paper near sodium oxide or aluminium oxide, it will turn blue. So this shows that these oxides are basic in nature and these oxides are acidic in nature. Some of the oxides are neutral also, like we all know that water is neutral in nature. Carbon monoxide is also neutral oxide. They are neither acidic nor basic. When these oxides are added, these non-metal oxides are added with water, they form acids like sulfur dioxide when mixed with water form sulfurous acid. So they are form an acid when mixed with water. Next is reaction with water. Metals react with water, and as we all know that sodium is more reactive than hydrogen. We have read about the reactivity series and we all know that sodium comes above the hydrogen. So sodium is more reactive than hydrogen, so it displaces this hydrogen from water and forms sodium hydroxide. Hydrogen is evolved outside. But we all know that non-metals do not react with water because non-metals are less reactive than hydrogen. They cannot give electron to hydrogen and release a hydrogen gas because they are less reactive than hydrogen. They comes below in the reactivity series. Similarly, metals react with acid to evolve hydrogen, but non-metals will not react with acid to form hydrogen because non-metals cannot replace hydrogen because they are less reactive than hydrogen and they come below the hydrogen in reactivity series. In the next reaction, as we have seen that displacement reaction happens in metals, the more reactive metal displaces the less reactive metal. Similarly, in case of nonmetals also, the more reactive nonmetal displaces the less reactive nonmetal from its solution. So, from sodium bromide, bromine is displaced by chlorine because chlorine is more reactive non-metal than bromine. So you see here that sodium chloride is formed and bromine is displaced. It happens in similar manner as in case of displacement reaction for metals. Next is reaction with chlorine. Metal reacts with chlorine gas to form metal chloride. Here you can see that sodium reacts with chlorine to form sodium chloride. Non-metals also reacts with chlorine to form their non-metal chlorides, like hydrogen reacts with chlorine to form hydrogen chloride. Phosphorus reacts with chlorine with form phosphorus chloride. So please write those reactions also. Then metal reacts with hydrogen to form hydrides. Non-metal reacts with hydrogen to form hydrides. So here they are similar of similar nature. Hydrogen H2S is formed, hydride is formed, and here sodium and hydrogen reacts with to form sodium hydride. Only the most reactive metals form hydride. Most other metals which are low in reactivity series do not form hydride. So this completes the comparative study of metals and non-metals. Now, how metals and non-metals react with each other? We see that salt is formed, one non-metal is there, another metal is there. How they are formed? Let's see that. Metals, as we all know, can form charged positive ions which are known as cation, and non-metals have ability to form an ion. Cations are formed when electron is given. When metal gives the electron, it forms positive ion. Negative charge is given, therefore itself it gets positive charge. And when negative charge or electron is taken or accepted by the non-metal, it gets negatively charged. So when electron goes from metal to non-metal, the metal becomes positively charged and the non-metal becomes negatively charged. And as we all know that positive and negative are opposite charges, and we know that opposite charges attract each other, they come together, and electrostatic bond is present between cation and anion. So in ionic compound, there is no molecule, there is no bond present. There is attraction between a positive ion and a negative ion. So this kind of compound which has ions and which has electrostatic attraction between cation and anion, these kind of compounds are known as ionic compounds. So metals and non-metals react together to form ionic compounds which do not exist as a metal. They only have electrostatic attraction between their positive and negative ions. Let's see how sodium chloride is formed. Okay, this is also an ionic compound. So let's take this example. Sodium, as we all know that atomic number is 11. So electronic configuration will be 281. Okay, if we form its structure, you can see that in the inner circle, the first orbit, 2 electrons are present. In the second orbit, 8 electrons are present. And in the last orbit, outermost orbit, you have read about the electronic configuration KLM shells. So in the outermost shell, only 1 electron is present. So the valence electron number will be 1. How many electrons are present in the outermost shell? 1. Let's see about the fluorine. Atomic number is 17. Electronic configuration is 287. In outermost shell, how many electrons should be present? 7. So 2. In the next shell, 8. And in the next shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. As in sodium, outermost shell has 1 electron, so we can write this as, we can write sodium and we will put a symbol. This symbol shows that there is 1 electron in the outermost shell. Okay, so 1 electron is present in the outermost shell, therefore we keep 1 electron here. If this was magnesium, 2 electrons are present in outermost shell, we will put 2 electrons here. Okay, in sodium, 1 electron is present in outermost shell. This is known as Lewis structure. Next, similarly, if we write about chlorine, we can write chlorine, and how many electrons are present in the outermost shell? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As we all know that all elements want to achieve the noble gas configuration, that is full outermost shell. In this sodium, if it gives this 1 electron to chlorine, if it gives this 1 electron, outermost electron, if it gives this electron, then the outermost shell will be this second shell and it will be complete, that is having 8 electrons, that is it is following octet rule. It has 8 electrons. So this sodium will give its 1 electron to chlorine. So now chlorine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electrons, which is noble gas configuration, and it becomes stable. And this sodium has no electron in the outermost shell, so this shell will be eliminated and outermost shell will have 8 electrons. Again, complete octet and noble gas configuration. So they will form, as sodium has given 1 electron, it forms positive, it gets positive charge, and chlorine gets negative charge. So this is how sodium chloride is formed. Sodium gives one electron to chlorine and both achieve the noble gas configuration. They get charged and these charged particles remain together due to electrostatic force and form the sodium chloride molecule. Okay, so this is how the ionic compound is formed. The reaction between metal and non-metals happen. Metals give electron and non-metals accept electron. Okay, try to do same thing for magnesium chloride. Okay, so ionic compounds, as we all have already discussed, they are formed by transfer of electron from metal to non-metal. Due to this transfer, ions are made. Positive ion is known as cation, negative ion is known as anion. The attraction between these two charged particles, ions, is very strong. Therefore, it has very high melting point and boiling point. It is crystalline in structure. Next, they are soluble in water and they can conduct electricity because ions are present in molten and in solution state. So when salt solution is prepared, if we keep this in beaker and test it with a battery, it will allow the current to flow and this bulb will glow. This shows that salt solution is conducting in nature, so it is conductor of electricity. So ionic compounds are formed by transfer of electron. They are crystalline solid having high melting point and boiling point. They are soluble in water, but they are insoluble in organic solvents. They conduct electricity only in molten or in solution state, because in solid state the ions cannot move. When we heat it, when we melt it, the attraction between the bond between the ions is overcome. They become free and then they start conducting the current. Similarly, in the solution also, the ions get separate and they are free to move. So therefore, they conduct electricity only in molten or in solution state. That's all for today. Thank you.